What's going on, everybody? For the third year in a row, I'm here with Dominic to talk about UMK, UMK, whatever you call it. It's the Finnish selection for the Eurovision Song Contest. And for 2022, we once again have a nice short and sweet selection, just 7 songs and artists who are in the running to represent Finland this year at the contest in Turin. So let's talk about which ones our favorites are and which ones we think could be representing Finland this year. So Dominic, tell me what it is that you like about this selection, because you're often one of the people who says that you want to be involved in the discussion for Finland. So what do you like about UMK?
I really like the variety of the songs, first of all. Also, it's just one night, so you don't have like an eternity to select a song, which can be annoying sometimes. That it's like 7 songs, so it's not that much, but the quality is very high. Every song is a possible contender to win this, and is also a possible qualifier for the final, which is always a good thing for Finland.
I definitely appreciate that concept of quality over quantity, because we definitely see what seems to be the opposite in some selections. I won't go further into that, but you know, it's definitely nice for it to be a one-night event, just great music, people who seem to be more or less equally matched. Obviously, there are always certain favorites that emerge, ahead of others, but it's always an exciting show. Last year, I wasn't fully feeling the songs, even though I respected the level of competition. And as I made very clear, I was not a fan of Blind Channel, but again, great for Eurovision. They got everything that they deserved. Yeah, exactly. But again, like it's just not for me. But anyway, let's get into some of the songs for 2022.
Just like a hurricane, we're tearing down the walls, not gonna settle for less. We know we're powerful, don't try to shut us up.
So this is our first song out of the gate. I have to say I'm not that surprised that it has a bit of a rock sound, but obviously there's lots of musical elements going on in there. It's not like somebody's coming in trying to do Blind Channel 2.0. But Dominic, tell me, what are your impressions of Cyan Kicks?
So overall, I really like the aesthetics, and the music video was one of the best, if not the best one. I really love the visuals. We are kind of spoiled about UMK because the videos are always great, but this was extremely great, even for UMK. I really love this song, especially because it gets you instantly. So the first 5 seconds and I was already into the song. About the singer, she has a great attitude and a great stage presence, at least in the video, and I'm pretty sure she can deliver it live. And also the hook, that's instantly something to catch on, and I can imagine that this is something the audience would remember in a recap. Keep in mind that people are not like us who listen to the song so many times. They just listen to it once, and I think these kind of elements are very important. Yeah, I really think they have a shot to win this.
You know, you mentioned a lot of things that I also recognize as really strong qualities, especially the lead vocalist, Susanna. She just has really great presence. It really is part of what sells the song, I would say. Lyrically, I'm not that interested in the song. I do appreciate the earworm quality that it has. It's not something that makes me want to turn off a song. It's just not the thing that I enjoy the most. The thing that I find when just kind of trying to dig into what people are feeling about this song is that it seems to be pretty well liked, but I find few people really love it. Like I haven't seen too many people choose this as their favorite. If let's say that this is a very split year where the favorites, kind of split the vote, then this could be the one that goes forward. But I don't know. What's your impression of that?
Yeah, same as you. So it's liked, but maybe it's also because of the running, because it was the first one released. So usually the hype is more into the ones with a later published date. So
yeah, like a recency bias kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the running order will play a major role in this. So I can imagine if this is the closer of the show, it has a much greater impact as like second spot or something.
Because it would be a different discussion if it was just that people were like, oh yeah, this song's nice, and then they moved on to the next one. But that's not the case here. It seems to be pretty well liked. But let's move on to the next one. So here we have our quintessential bop, one that has been getting a lot of praise among the fans, I'd have to say. Dominic, where does this one land for you?
Yeah, I really like it because it's creative. What I really enjoy is that it hits you right from the beginning, so it has a very strong beat, and I really like that. It's kind of made for the Eurovision community, I would say. So it's, well, I wrote down bait.
Eurobaits. I like that.
Yeah, a bit. So I can see like the typical Eurovision fans are like, yeah, winner, queen and stuff. Yeah, I must say though, it kind of reminded me of Erika Wigman somehow. So I have this similarity to Cicciolina a bit, also like Finnish, also Bob, also this very sassy attitude, which I really, really love. 2 years ago, Erika had the problem that the vote was 50% only, and this time it's 75. So I can see this as a real contender to win, or at least be in the top two way, definitely.
I definitely see the Eurofan appeal for it. I also think that it has its own thing going for it. Like it's not, something that's ripped right out of the radio library of nowadays. And the musical sound that it has, for me is comparable to dance music from like the mid 2000s. I think of like Ernesto and Bastian, Dark Side of the Moon.
When the sun is cold and black, when you wanna scream and shout.
And her voice, I have to say, the artist that she reminds me of most is Pink.
I can see the similarity. That's a really good comparison.
So I have to say, like, I really enjoy this one, and I would be very happy to see it go to Eurovision. My one complaint is that the final chorus kind of drags a bit, but that's really, it's a bit of a nitpick kind of thing, because especially if it's at the end of the song, chances are you're not going to have lost people by then. Like, if you're going to lose people, it will be the beginning or in the middle.
Oh no, now I have a Pam Pam too much, so now I don't like it anymore. It's like I Love You last time. Oh no, the 60s time was too much. Now I'm off the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's not gonna happen, so I think that's fine.
I see this as a contender. I guess we'll have to see. I would hope for something that has the kind of energy that we saw in the lyric video. So yeah, fingers crossed that this will do well. So there's been a lot of hype about the Rasmus one day entering a selection to represent Finland at the Eurovision Song Contest. Dominic, what are your impressions of the song that they're bringing?
So again, it goes into the rock niche, which you would expect from Finland. I have recognized the name as well. So it's not like it's usual that someone from Germany or Canada or somewhere else knows participants from UMK in general. So of course the expectations are high. And I must say I like it. But I don't love it. I think the chorus is kind of a letdown, so it goes nowhere. And I think the verses are very interesting, and I really like how it's building up. But then it's like, I don't know, there's something missing for me. However, I like the vocals. He's doing a great job. I like the music video. I like the aesthetics of yellow and black, which is always a very nice combination. Who knows what's gonna happen? I can see them as a televote winner just because of their reputation, but I don't think it's gonna be enough just based on the name. So I think it's a little boost, but it's not like they are sailing through no matter what.
That seems to be the discussion at hand, because some people are convinced that because they had an international hit and they've sustained their career in some degree, that they could very well sweep the televote and therefore win with this 75 to 25% ratio. However, there are other people who say that it has been a long time and people have kind of forgotten about them. So maybe that idea is not going to be as much of a factor. So obviously, that's something that we'll just have to wait and see. There's nothing that really suggests, based on the reaction of the song, that this is going to be the choice. And obviously we see a lot of competitors here. With respect to the song, I have to admit that on the first listen, I kind of wrote it off, because there's something about these songs that are named after women and they're all about like how it makes the lead singer go crazy or fall madly in love. To me, it's just like one of the most cliche things, especially in rock music. I did warm up to it a little bit more on the later listens, and although I still see it as quite cliche, I'm not put off by it. I find the song decent. I think that maybe some people are a little bit let down because they were hoping for something that would really solidify them as the choice. I would be fine with it winning. But like you said, there is kind of a missing quality that doesn't make me as excited about it.
Again, we have this discussion about having a name or like a reputation going into a national selection or even going to Eurovision. We have so many examples where big names, don't want to say flop, but were behind the expectations. I just dropped the name Bonnie Tyler, for example.
Or Flo Rida. How many people said, oh, people are just going to be excited to see Flo Rida, and that will sail them like right through to the top 10.
right through to place 22nd, I think. Maybe you can actually have a comparison with a Finnish artist like from 2019. So the one.
Oh yes,
yes,
Darude, yeah.
Exactly, with the Sandstorm, that was such a big hit in the 90s. And everyone was like, oh, they're definitely gonna get sailed through just based on the name. And I think they were pretty much last in the semi. So again, name doesn't say a lot about Eurovision.
Yeah, it does really come down to what you're bringing to the stage. I do think that because this is a televote heavy selection, there could be some influence. But again, it's a big question. So I guess that just remains to be said. So here we have a three-piece band that's bringing, I would say, the song that has the most heart, and you just reminded me off camera that they're called Younghearted, and I didn't even clock that. But anyway, tell me, what do you think of Numero?
First of all, you're welcome. And second, the lyrics are beautiful, and I can really relate to it, especially because the lyrics fit to the genre and to this instrumental and to everything. So it's about like forgiveness and regret, that she wants to say goodbye and just wants to say a few last words. It is very organic, and I believe everything she says. I love the voice. It's very clear, it's very calm, but also like it's strong enough to deliver the song. So just because you're vulnerable doesn't mean you have a weak voice, and I think she has a great balance for that. I also draw the comparison, especially after the second chorus, when it goes into this bridge or whatever, to Coldplay, Fix You. That's why it really got me. I think it has a great shot to win, I hope. The thing is, I have read some comments about it like being not memorable enough, and maybe it's forgotten, but I think that's the strength of the song. It stands on its own, and I think it has the quality to be very successful if people get the meaning behind it. Also have to say the music video was very nice because I think it was a one take. Maybe they can actually deliver that on stage. I think it would have a great effect on the whole performance.
I'm a big fan of long takes and even like the single take. And I think of Common Linnets has, I think, 7 or 8 cuts in the entire performance. And one of them, I think, occupies a good 2 minutes of the song. And then also there was Montaigne's Australia Decides performance, which was all one take. Loved that, was a huge fan of that song. I don't think that a song like this needs something like that. But if they're going to put in the effort to try and execute something like that, then that's really exciting from my point of view. It is really going to come down to how they communicate the feeling of the song on stage, because it is definitely very sentimental. I love the idea that you mentioned as well of this being kind of like about closure, right? Like you just want to hope that you get that response from the other person to say all is forgiven. Let's, close this chapter and open a new one. If they're able to convey that in a genuine way on stage, where it's not just about the performance and it's about, the story that they want to tell, then yeah, I think that this could absolutely reach people. I think that this could also be really respected by the juries. Not a favorite of mine, but it has the potential to be a favorite of mine depending on how that visual story is told.
Thank God I'm an atheist, 'cause I don't wanna face my sin.
So you could definitely refer to this one as being probably the slowest song of the selection, but not one that I think will be forgettable for many reasons. Dominic, tell me what you like about this song.
Well, first of all, I have to admit I'm an atheist, so I can really relate to the song. I like the theme. I like that she is brave, because as we all know, having this kind of title will cause some discussions, of course. I like the atmosphere it's creating, which also is supported by the music video. I think it's very aesthetic, and I think it really fits the song. You can really tell that it has really a big meaning for her, and that she's not doing it just because she wants to represent Finland with it. So overall, I think it's a very good effort, and I think it really is a reason why UMK is one of my favorite national selections, because I don't think this kind of song will participate in many other selections because of this controversy. I don't know. If we pretend this would be the winner, I'm not sure, because I think, especially in other parts of Europe, the audience wouldn't be that into this kind of song, I have the feeling. So if this would be selected, I may see it struggle in the semifinals.
I do really want to focus in on the boldness of this song, not only for the kind of agitation that it could cause for having that irony. I love the irony of "Thank God I'm an Atheist." It's just really delightful in a very specific way, but not in a way that seems overly obnoxious. When the song started, I was a little bit skeptical, especially when you get to the lines like, "I like to play with gasoline." Like my initial thought was like, okay, we're getting someone who's obviously very angsty, very overdramatic. But from that point on, I was completely sold by it because the lyrics cut right through. It's some people are not going to like them. That's a fact. But they are impossible to ignore, and for that reason, you're drawn into what she's telling you. And you know, the introspection in the song, the philosophy, her own philosophy that she's displaying. In my opinion, like I just think it's very well done. And not only the lyrics themselves, but the instrumentation really supports that feeling because it starts off with a lot of softness. You got the piano, you got the plucked strings, and then you get that hard-hitting drum and that distorted bass that just comes in and is like, "F you and your piousness," right? I don't think that it would struggle in the semifinal. I do think that the supposed poking the big religious bear might obviously upset some people, but I don't know. I guess I'm a bit bored in lockdown, and I'm kind of like, yeah, let's poke the bear.
Yeah, always. Many songs have connotations to God or to religion, so I think it's totally valid to have the opposite approach.
We had Amen from Slovenia and Austria, and then we also had El Diablo from Cyprus, and we know that obviously lots of the Christian conservatives were really upset about that one. But I don't know, like, she's making a point, and she should be allowed to make it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, exactly.
Elämä kantaa mua, kuin Harley ja Davidson, kotkalaina se liitäitä.
So one thing that we've seen from Finland lately is that they have been bringing established artists to kind of show the young ones how it's done. Dominic, tell me, what do you feel about Tommi's song?
You can really say that about this performance and about this music video, that he has a lot of life experience already. Otherwise, the song wouldn't make sense, I think. I really like the content of it. So it's like, okay, he's basically accepting that he's not the youngest anymore, but he's trying to make the best out of it. And he's making the comparison to be a Harley Davidson, which is like, the older you get, the more pricey or the more value you receive. It's not my favorite. I don't think I'm in the target group, but just as last year with Dani, I was like, okay, if everyone else is contributing the votes, so everyone is shared within a certain community, and then all the ones who are into this kind of song, I can see a way of that this might win this.
Oh, you think?
Why not? Yeah, why not? I can see it a bit polarizing, so you're really into this song or you just don't care. And I think if it's a close call, has a shot to do at least decent. I really see that happening. What do you think?
This is really the only one that I have to say doesn't seem like a contender personally. And I think that's okay because honestly, again, he's had a career since the early 1980s. And I think about the discussions that we were having around Azúcar Moreno from Benidorm Fest this year, who are Eurovision icons. They performed at the show in 1990. Lots of people love their song from then. And it's just like after all that time, when you've made a name for yourself in your own country and to a certain degree abroad, you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. I mean, maybe that kind of approach would be one of the things that would make his performance work. I don't think that the song itself is going to be really getting too many people excited about it, but I do see the value in it. And, you know, I wouldn't call this like dead on arrival or a definite last place or anything. I enjoy the song and what he's saying with the song. So really, you know, I'm open to it. I guess I just don't see it necessarily winning is my only issue.
I wrote down Finnish Bon Jovi. I don't know. I kind of have this vibe.
Yeah, I get that.
The thing is, just imagine this song being performed by a young one. Would that work? No.
No, of course not.
So I think it is a good choice for him as a song to compete in this.
Kuuma jäbä, elämä kuuma. Sä oot silleen tuuppata, kai mun on pakko tulla.
So as we get to our last song, I have to say, if you're still clinging on to your innocence, I think Isaac has come to snatch it right away from you. Dominic, tell me, what do you think of his song?
Well, I really have to admire that he is very brave. I think not a lot of people would be would perform like this or perform a song like this. So I wrote down, and I mean it in the best possible way, naughty boy. Really. So the lyrics are like very, sexual references.
If you haven't learned already, he's saying that he's normally with a different woman every night, but this time it's specifically a very hot dude, as he says.
The thing is, he can hide it because it's in Finnish, and the ordinary Eurovision viewer wouldn't get that, I think. But I'm pretty sure he will make sure that the topic will be conveyed through his performance.
Absolutely. Yeah. With the video, I mean, you can't miss what's going on in the song. You might not get it exactly, but you'll at least get a sense of what he's feeling, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's not love, love, peace, peace.
No. No.
Maybe the first part, but not the second. So it has a nice beat. It has a nice flow. I hope he can deliver it live, and I'm really curious to see what he's going to be on stage or what he's doing. And it would be such a brave choice from Finland to do this. I would really appreciate the effort, and I think it's polarizing, and being polarizing is a good thing because you want people to love you, so you get the points, and I'm pretty sure there is an audience for this.
Me too, and I think of, in the best possible way, I do see a number of comparisons here as far as like musically, my mind goes to The Weeknd because it has that synth pop sound, and the timbre of his voice reminds me of that. But it's also a little bit of like Lil Nas X with his image, being not as in your face as Lil Nas X, but he's not afraid to demonstrate his sexuality. And then also like a touch of Prince as well is what I get from his image, especially that he's got a guitar with him, and it gives it a little bit more of like an alternative touch, which I think really works for it. And I mean, like, as far as the song goes, this is the steamy bi awakening that I've never had, so of course I'm like, yeah, tell me more. It's really, like really, really bold. I think now would be a great time to send this to Europe because there's absolutely an audience for it. Yes, it would be divisive, but divisive is good. It's much better than being forgettable. And I don't think that there are many songs here that are forgettable, but this one has clearly stood out for so many ways. Again, this is just really solid.
Yeah, I would be very, very happy if Finland sent this, especially after Blind Channel last time, because it's so different. Because then it wouldn't go into the same road. Like we have a few countries which are going into this, okay, this was successful, so let's keep going. I don't want to say a name, but I think you know which one I'm referring to, right?
Well, really, I would say that there are a handful that when they notice that one method works, then the subsequent songs that they bring tend to be in line with that. So definitely not one. I'm pretty sure I know of the one that you're thinking of, but okay. Yeah, I agree. So those are all 7 songs. One of them will be representing Finland. And I do really feel like this is quite an open competition. It is, again, a big question of how that televote to jury ratio will impact the score and if the supposed artists that have a reputation and influence are going to benefit from that. But ultimately, I see lots of great choices here. And I'm just going to stick with my 2 favorites as far as it being either Isaac or Olivera for the win, because I think that they can do something new for Eurovision.
I think Cyan Kicks or the Rasmus, which would be fine, especially like Cyan Kicks, because it's going into the same genre, but it's not like a copycat from last year. And I think that's the issue we had with a few countries, and I don't think Finland's going to do it. And we all know that rock is a very popular genre in Finland. Let's face it, that's just a fact. So I think these kind of songs always have kind of a bonus.
Yeah, I think of all the countries, Finland has the right to send rock more often than not. But yeah, let's see. And you're right to mention the fact that we're seeing a popularity in rock entries, and you could attribute that to the success of Måneskin and Blind Channel from Finland. Whether or not they'll all be making it to Turin is another question, but we're certainly seeing that response to a degree in the national selections. Those are our thoughts on UMK for this year. What are your thoughts? Tell us who you think is going to be winning, who your favorites are. Be sure to reach out to us on socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to Eurovoxx if you haven't done so already, because we cover all the national selections, and we'd love to know what you have to say about those. We will leave it there. Take care, and see you next time.